What is up, everybody? My name is Justin Alvarado, and welcome to the MVP podcast.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your co-host, Myko Garcia. We're back with another episode. And for today, guys, NBA is probably going to come back in a month or two. And for today, that's what we're going to be talking about, off-season moves. And let me welcome our special guest for the night. We have Jan Rodil, or we're going to call him the show as Rolo. What's up, Rolo?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Rolo. Pretty much, I'm a huge basketball fan since I was a kid. More importantly, huge Steph Curry fan.
All right.
Let's go.
All right. So a little brief background of Rolo. He's a junior jock. We go to the same school, right? DLSU.
Yeah, DLSU.
Yes, sir. And of
course, I've been nailed, so it's kind of like I don't know.
Oh no, that's counted. That's counted.
That's so counted. Okay,
yeah,
that's good. I'm just trying to make sure, you know.
As long as you bleed green, we the same, man. We the same.
Oh, we do.
And of course, we're all huge fans of basketball. Everyone knows that, Justin and I from the show. But how about you, Rolo? Tell us a little about yourself and your basketball knowledge, or like.
Well, for me, it kind of started when my dad showed me like clips of MJ, and I think that's where it all started. Because when I was I was living abroad, basketball wasn't a huge sport. And if you are wondering where did I live, it was Vietnam. So more or less it was football. So it was hard for us to watch basketball. Right. And then my dad introduced me to MJ, and then I remember he also introduced me to T-Mac. And I think that's where it all started. And then from there on, I just started developing that love for basketball. And I guess it's part of, being a Filipino who just has this huge obsession with basketball. It's kind of a religion for us.
I agree.
It's facts. So facts.
Right, nice, perfect. So you can see you started off from the vintage players, and it's not just like started from the modern thing. So yeah, just like all of us here, we started vintage, started with the old players. Before we start, guys, this episode is brought to you by MVP Box Breaks. So if you guys are looking to collect cards, start the hobby, and join Box Breaks, you can message my valuable player on Instagram to be added to our GC, or search us on Facebook as well at MVP Box Breaks. All right. There we have it. So for today, guys, we're going to be tackling off-season moves to the NBA. Where did new players come? Which team landed the best players? Who built a better team to be playoff contenders? And yeah, let's get right into it. So our first question. The way we're going to do this, by the way, guys, it's kind of different. So we're going to be doing questions, and you'll be hearing an answer from me, Rolo, and Justin. So we'll all give our own opinion for this one. Doing it different this time. All right. So first question, guys, man, let's get right into it. The biggest winner in the off season, man. All right. So I'm gonna go first. I'm not gonna give a popular answer, like I'm sure we all know the popular answers here, but I'm gonna go with the Miami Heat, man. Can I just start off with the Miami Heat? Like, not just Kyle Lowry. For me, they got PJ Tucker and Markieff Morris to go along with the environment that Jimmy, Bam, and the whole Miami organization of like toughness, defense. And I think that's what Pat Riley really wants to build. And man, how about you, Rolo? What do you think about that? What do you think about Kyle Lowry?
I was gonna go with Miami too, because of the foundation. So imagine having Kyle Lowry and Jimmy Butler as your backcourt. Plus you have Bam Adebayo. And bring in the, let's just say the next five. So those who will be playing around like the second quarter or so. So you have Markieff Morris, PJ Tucker. I mean,
they have Oladipo as well. Victor Oladipo.
Exactly.
He recovered the whole season this year.
That is crazy. I say, Miami, but I do have another one though. Even though this team may have not added that much, but I'd say Brooklyn.
Okay.
Brooklyn is
Right?
Well, let's say they're stacked, all right. So
Yeah.
I never expected Patty Mills to end up in the Nets, but hey, I think players are on the chase for, easy access just to get a ring, which I'm not gonna be mad about that, but having Patty Mills as your backup would be crazy. So the thing is, you have, Harden and Kyrie as your starters, and then going to your backup, let's just say you have Patty Mills, Bruce Brown. I think, that's gonna be scary. And then even though you mix up the rotation, especially you have Steve Nash. So if you're gonna put in, let's just say like a rotation of Mills, Kyrie, KD, and who's this other center? I'm not really familiar with it, but it's gonna be crazy.
Uh,
And then you have Blake Griffin, and then Marcus Aldridge just came back. Although that's kind of a big question for me.
We have to see. Yeah, that's a big question mark. We'll see about that.
But for me, this is what that Brooklyn is just one scary team.
Let's see. And yeah, but after that, like, because we all know Kyrie has either it's injury issues or like Kyrie's
Just personal problems.
yeah, he's a unique
Yeah.
character, and
Yeah.
there's gonna be unique problems that's gonna get him off the court. So
That is true.
like he's a six man, but he can be a starter as well, and he would fit perfectly with Harden and KD in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, in case Kyrie does not get vaccinated, I think
Oh,
Patty Mills is also another good starter, I guess. So
yeah.
you're still set.
Uh-huh.
I'll let the fanboy in me speak just a little bit, but I can back it up because my answer for the biggest winner of the off season will be the Lakers, because at least in my opinion, you need superstars in this league to win championships. So for me, the biggest move in the off season will also entail being the biggest star as well, which so far has been, at least in my opinion, Russell Westbrook. So if you add in Russell Westbrook to the Lakers, it makes it feel like they're much closer to Brooklyn than they were last year. Because, I mean, it's just simple math. Brooklyn has three, the Lakers have two. So obviously,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's fair for Vegas to favor Brooklyn. But now that it's 3-3, I'd say the playing field is a little bit more even. And, it's not a natural fit. We'll have to see. And, it's more of a wait and see because we don't know if it'll work. But if it does work, let's go.
Rolo, let me ask you a question about the Lakers. Let me ask you a question though.
I'm ready.
What do you think about all of the comments saying that they're too old? What do you have to say about that?
I don't know. Here's the thing, because age to me doesn't really matter. Because if you look at the Bulls, they were also a lot of vets, but they still won a championship. So anything can happen. But my concern with the Lakers is, who's your defensive guy? First off. Second, who are your shooters? Are you going to rely on Melo? Because Melo's your primary scorer as a backup. But in terms of shooting, especially when it comes to the starters, who is your guy? LeBron can shoot, but can he shoot the lights out? Westbrook can shoot, but can he shoot the lights out? AD can shoot because he used to be a point guard. But can he shoot the lights out? See, the thing is, in today's game, more importantly in the NBA, shooters has been one of the most coveted, or not the most highlighted skill now these days. Because right before, it's just all layups, dunks, that the cool aspect. Until, let's say, late 2014, 2015. That's where it all changes. So shooting has to be your bread and butter. Defense is another one. Well, I think defense is also okay, but for Lakers, what's going to be the most biggest concern has to be their shooting, because Melo's your only shooter. Kent Bazemore, he's your spot up three. Who else is your
they got
other shooter?
Monk and Wayne Ellington as well, though, from shooters.
They are shooters. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll give
But-
them that.
Yeah.
The thing is,
Yeah, they're not proven
you
yet.
need a lights
Yeah.
out shooter in order
Yeah.
to beat this Brooklyn squad. I mean, let's be honest, like Lakers and Brooklyn will be the finals, but
If
Who's
everyone
gonna-
stays healthy.
healthy, yes.
Yeah.
Let's not forget about that. So yeah, and like what Alv said, you brought it up, and health issues is another thing
Yeah.
to go through. So looking at the ages,
Yeah, that's probably like
average
a big
is-
connection.
exactly. Average is 36, and the youngest is what? Rondo, who's like 32, 33. I might be mistaken, but he's
Yeah.
somewhere in the 30s. Yeah, injury is one issue because anything could go wrong. I'm gonna say this, but if AD can stay healthy, there was a possible
Yeah, yeah.
chance that they will win it all. But without AD,
Oh yeah.
you
Yeah.
cannot win.
Yeah.
With LeBron too, I'm telling you, look, we've all seen how LeBron performed last season. It's like he's got a step slower because of
Yeah,
his
really.
age. His age is starting to show. And my concern with that is AD and LeBron getting injured, because those are the glue of what holds Lakers together. So for them, they just have to stay healthy. For the Lakers, they just need to figure out how to stay healthy. They just need to figure out how to get more spacing, which still you could get a lot of spacing, but
Right.
you
Right.
rely on those guys to actually shoot the lights out. So that's my issue.
What about you, Alex? What do you think about that, Alex?
Well, yeah, of course, like age, health will always play into it. I feel like if you asked most people as well last year heading into the playoffs, a lot of people were at least expecting or hoping either Lakers or the Clippers, and then they'll meet the Nets in the East. Which I feel like this year it's more of just Lakers and the Nets, just because of Kawhi's injury. But yeah, I mean, it's always going to be a part of the game. Like, I'm not one of those people who like kind of diminish, like, let's say Giannis's ring just because a lot of other teams were injured, because got to give him his flowers and everything. But I don't know. Maybe the fanboy in me is rooting for the Lakers, but if you add in like an MVP, someone who's averaged a triple double 4 of the past 5 seasons, led the league in assists last year. LeBron and AD said they're willing to slide to the 4 and 5. Russ will be at the 1. I don't know how that's gonna work out. Maybe it'll help with the spacing. You can put Melo at the 3, another shooter at the 2. There's like a lot of factors that are gonna move along the way. I feel like it's not gonna click at the start, but if anyone can figure it out, I trust that it's LeBron. And if everyone can stay healthy, I think I like our odds. But if I had to give an unbiased answer on who has the best odds to win it next year, Brooklyn for sure. Because of Rolo's point. I mean, everyone's just a much better shooter in Brooklyn than, the Lakers. So yeah, we'll see. But it should be interesting. Hopefully, fingers crossed, everyone stays healthy. We get to see matchups that, everyone's at full strength. We see the best experience that TV has to display for the
Yeah.
NBA, so
Yeah.
hopefully
We're
everything
given
goes
a
well.
peak, which is Christmas Day. So
Right.
we can gauge from that.
Let's hope for a lot more showtime. Lakers showtime. Yes, sir. All right. So for the winners, we got Miami, we got Brooklyn, we got Lakers. All big names. All right. How about the losers? How about the losers? Who is your biggest loser? How about you, Robert? Do you want to start off with this one?
I know this one in the
All
back of
right,
my
go
mind.
ahead, go ahead.
This is gonna
Go
be
ahead.
easy.
Go
I
ahead.
say Philadelphia.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
What's the point on adding Andre Drummond? You
Yeah.
already have
Thumbs up.
another. You have another center
Mhm.
who's actually that good. You have Joel Embiid, and plus adding the drama of Ben Simmons. That's the thing. And the problem with Philadelphia is they're asking too much for Ben Simmons. And we've all seen what happened with Ben Simmons. He choked. He even passed up an open layup
Yeah.
for crying out loud. Who passes up an open up layup? It's so you just question it. Like, is he afraid? Is he scared? Which we will never know. But the thing is, Ben Simmons wants out for Philadelphia, right? But nobody's actually wanting Ben Simmons because the thing is, our team's willing to sacrifice that much money for a player in his caliber. Let's just say he's really talented. He is, but the thing is, in playoff situations and in playoff games, do you think somebody will or is willing to risk that much money? 30, 30 million a year? Let's just say
33,
around
I
that.
think. Yeah.
33 million a year. And then in playoffs, you just don't perform that well. I mean, nobody's gonna want to invest in that. Like he is a good player, but the thing is, for Philadelphia, you're asking too much, and that is just you're not gonna get valuable assets, especially for Philadelphia, who's just asking too much. So for me, that's my biggest loser. I say Philadelphia.
Yeah. Ben Simmons' skill set is, I would say, unique. And with a unique skill set like that, okay, not every team's gonna need it or it, especially with the drama. That's for sure. Yeah, man. Like Drummond and B, like they're definitely not gonna be in the floor at the same time. That's for sure.
It's not gonna work.
Look, that's for sure. Let's see. Let's see.
Uh, I was gonna say Philly as well, but for more or less the same reason, I have two teams. One, Portland, and two, Boston.
Oh,
Because the two of them in particular, because they've always been teams that are gonna make the playoffs, but you also know that they're not gonna make a deep run. They feel like, yeah, 5, 6, 7, 8 seed, but they're not gonna go past like the conference finals. And that's one of the most disappointing uh places to be. Not really disappointing, but it's one of the weirdest places to be in, because on one hand, you're maybe one or two pieces away from a potential championship, but at the same time, do you rebuild and just scrap this? Maybe Tatum and Brown aren't good enough together. Maybe you would get a superstar instead. It's such a hard situation to be in, wherein, especially when you talk about Boston in particular, such a decorated franchise that only what rivals the Lakers. And the past few years, we've always seen the same story: come short, come short, come short, come short. Like, they've made the Eastern Conference Finals, but let's say they made it one year over the other team who came out of the East. Do you think they have what it takes to beat whoever comes out of the West? Like, it's always the question wherein, yeah, they're good, but, and then blank. So it's so tough because, like, on one hand, like, okay, Schluter might help, but I don't think he's the missing piece to Boston. And for Portland, you're just one Damian Lillard away from tanking. Like, take out Dame from Portland, and I don't know what's. I mean, CJ is nice, but if you, like, let's say what, trade Ben Simmons and Tobias Harris for Dame Lillard, like, I feel like that's a big win for Philly, Lillard and Embiid, oh my god, I think that would be
Mm-hmm.
pretty insane. But for
Crazy.
Portland,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if CJ, Ben Simmons, and Tobias Harris would actually really do damage. And they could make the playoffs still, but I don't really like their odds. So, it's a tough situation to be in general because you don't know where you should really lean towards. And I feel like that's in itself a losing spot.
See, and I mean, from their free agency, like the best pickup Portland got was Chauncey Billups for their coach. Like when you expected them to bring in pieces to impress Dame, I mean, I don't like to discriminate, but come on, man, look at the players, bro. Cody Zeller, come on, man. Larry Nance is fine. Larry Nance is fine. He's athletic, power forward for defense. Can shoot the three sometimes. Ben McLemore, Tony Snell for defense, I guess. But we were Dame. I think Dame. Pretty sure Dame expected more. I think, right? Like,
I don't know if I were Dave.
right? He wants to
Yeah.
win now, and I don't think there's a win now like arrival of like not a win now package. Let's say.
And I think that's the problem with Portland is that they're always the team that will always make it to the playoffs, but will never make a deep run. So I think what went wrong there is management level. Coaching somewhat had a problem, but to me it was more of management because you already have two pieces. You have Lillard and McCollum. So all you need to do is just build from these guys. But they failed to capitalize on building around the two. More importantly, their bench, because you also need a consistent bench scorer. So that's the huge problem for me. Going to the Celtics, well, I think they just need to find a center and they're all good. They just need a really good center. But everything else seems fine.
I'm guessing they have a lot of faith in a Scanter and and Robert Williams. Robert Williams 4-year deal, so they put the faith in Robert Williams.
I hope it pays off.
What about you, Michael?
All right, I mean, my loser was Portland and Boston as well, but okay, if I had to give an answer, I wouldn't really say they're a loser just because like last season the expectations on this team wasn't so high at all anyway. And then now with this offseason that they had, it's like they're at the same spot. So I guess for me, like the fact that there's no movement from like if you're at the bottom already, like the only place to go is up, right? And after this offseason, they're still at the bottom. And that's the San Antonio Spurs, man. Like they got new pieces, so they got Doug McDermott, Thaddeus Young, Al-Farouq Aminu, an injured Zach Collins still. Bryn Forbes came back. I'm looking here at Bleacher Report. Bryn Forbes came back because he went to Milwaukee, right? For the championship.
Yeah.
He came back. Then he drafted Joshua Primo. So, I mean, nothing big here, but yeah, like I said, last season, they weren't really expected to be a playoff team. But I think they made the play-in, did they? Or I think they were like, I think
They
they were
were
like,
in the play.
over there in the play-in.
Yeah, 9 and 10, but they lost.
Yeah. So yeah, kind of. I guess that's a good thing for them. But still, now like with their rivals, it's not looking so good. Plus the Doug McDermott contract, actually a little overpaid, but I believe in Dougie, NCAA scoring champion before when he was in college. How about you? What do you guys think about their rivals with San Antonio? Nah, just
Well,
like
it's tough because like
yeah.
San Antonio was literally a dynasty just a few years ago. Everyone was expecting like they'd hand over the keys to Kawhi. They got Aldridge, and like people were expecting Pop as well is highly regarded as a coach. So people were gonna think like, okay, you know what, like they might not be a dynasty anymore, but they might be enough to like make the playoffs every now and then. But you know, it's a tough situation for San Antonio, especially when you lost not only Aldridge, who you were kind of hoping to build around, but also DeRozan, like this past offseason. So it's kind of looking dim for San Antonio from the looks of it. I don't
Yep.
know if they'll be able to make it to the play-in with this roster in this upcoming season. So we'll see.
Well, they are rebuilding, so I guess that's one factor
Yeah.
to be considered. So I don't think we're
So,
not going to be expecting that much. So for San Antonio, this is more of like a learning curve for them. That's
all right. So, you guys have anything to add to the San Antonio team, or another like honorable mention you guys have for the loser or even the winner? Because I feel like there's a lot of winners that we didn't get to mention before we head over to our next question. Yeah, any honorable mentions you guys want to mention?
Mm, I think my honorable mention will be categorized under the underrated moves.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's just head into that then. So for the next question, then since you have it in mind already, Justin, I'll let you start it off. What's your underrated move? Underrated.
Okay. Underrated because I know, well, I am kind of certain they won't make it to the finals, but they will be a
Okay.
lot of fun to watch. I'm willing to place money that they are going to make the playoffs. And I really like Chicago right now because you add in DeRozan, you add in Lonzo Ball, you already have Zach Levine, you already have Vooch. Those four alone, like that's a pretty good team, I would say. Like enough. I feel like that's enough to make it to the playoffs. I feel like that's the goal for this year, especially since last year they were kind of close. I knew like the record was almost play in like worthy, but it just kind of fell short at the end. So I feel like if you take out one of the teams from the East, let's say the Pacers or something, or Charlotte or the Wizards, I feel like they could, really sneak in. Maybe even be the next, let's say, Knicks type of story. Like everyone was surprised with the Knicks last year. Julius Randle just emerged. The
Yeah.
team did so much better, and in general, I feel like it's a good thing with the Knicks being relevant, and as goes as
Yeah.
well with Chicago. It's just a good thing when Chicago is relevant because of the history, the franchise, and everything. So I feel like with the moves they've made so far, it's great. I feel like they're just around the same level of like the Knicks or something that they can make like a, fourth, fifth, sixth seed. So yeah, it should be fun to see how things go for the Bulls this season.
All right. Well, let's see that. How about you, Rolo? What's yours?
well, I was supposed to say Chicago, but I have two in mind.
All right.
One would be the Wizards, and then I have the Warriors as my other one. Well, I'm gonna just go with the Wizards because was the trade package between Russell Westbrook and then you had Montrezl Harrell, you have Kyle Kuzma, Caldwell Pope, and then you added Spencer Dinwiddie. Now
Yep.
this is a squad where you can, this is a sleeper squad for sure.
Yeah.
I
Spencer
see
Dinwiddie,
this, yeah.
biggest sleeper.
Yes, and I see this team going in playing tournament for sure.
Hmm.
Because you have Bradley Beal who is usually the face of the Wizards, and then you have Harrell, you had Spencer Dinwiddie. Spencer Dinwiddie can do a lot of the playmaking, and then you have Montrezl Harrell. at the 5, so that would be amazing. Now, with my second choice, the reason why I said Golden State Warriors, it's not just because that I'm a huge fan of the Golden State Warriors, but it's a good sign. It's a good sign because they signed Otto Porter Jr., they signed Otto Porter Jr., who is such an underrated free agent, and they got him for a cheap. 1 year, $5 million. If he can stay healthy, then that is a steal. Second, you have Bielitsa, because Bielitsa can serve as your small ball center.
Yeah.
And knowing Golden State, this is where
probably gonna go.
This is where they go crazy. Even though you have Wiseman coming up, who could make the biggest leap, especially with Jordan Poole. And then you have the drafts. You have Kuminga. You have
sir.
You know who these two remind me of? I will just say these two remind me of Giannis and Chris Middleton.
Really?
Yes. With
Kuminga's
skill, because here's the thing, Kuminga is so similar to Giannis. He can defend. He usually drives to the rim. We all know that's Giannis before. We all know that's what Giannis is bread and butter. He just needs to develop his shooting. See, it's like a symbol resemblance to Giannis. While you have Middleton, although the difference between Moody and Middleton is that Middleton can defend in some sense, and he can drive. But I do see a lot of resemblance to these two guys. And for me, those two teams are like one of the most underrated signings. And Golden State could just surprise everybody because you have Clay coming back. Like I said, Wiseman, Poole, and then you have the additional free agents. Recently, Avery Bradley got signed, so this is going to be an interesting season for them. Same goes for Washington, because Washington I would definitely recommend that team, and more importantly, I would tell people not to sleep on the Wizards. That's my take. What about you guys?
Right. Anyway, going back to what you said though, I do agree with Washington. It's gonna be definitely a fun team to watch. More team basketball, I would say. With the Warriors pickups, I love their pickups. They fill a very huge hole in the wing compared to last season and defense. Very high praise for Kuminga though to be aligned with Giannis, but I do agree with his intangibles. You know, dribble, can shoot, can defend, vert, reach. But of course, Giannis is a special beast. Man. Giannis has his own like cage, man. He's a special beast, man.
Yeah.
Definitely another wing pickup. Can shoot, definitely. Lights out. He was a little lights out in the summer league, I think. But yeah, he showed. He was pretty good. He was pretty good in the summer league. For me though, my underrated move, a little biased as well to my favorite team, the Knicks, man. Like I'm a big Knicks fan, and I know Kemba has the injury problems. Evan Fournier he's different in the NBA versus FIBA. But man, come on, we got cardiac Kemba on a stage, and I think that's what the Knicks need, man. The Knicks need like some flair, some good offense, some spark, man. Kemba provides that, in my opinion. Plus, with the draft picks they got, they filled the hole with the point guard that needs a shooting point guard and defensive point guard. Because last season was Alfred Payton, and that was tough. Like he only started the first 6 minutes of the game, and then you won't see him the rest of the game. It's always gonna be D Rose. But now they fill it with the rookies. So yeah, that's my underrated. Next game.
Let's just hope Trey does not silence Edmund.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I mean, Trey versus Kemba. I mean, I love the Knicks, but shit, I'm scared of Trey, man. I'm gonna be scared of Trey if it's.
He's a bad man.
I sense things.
and then just did the bow. Oh my goodness, that is
Yeah. Yes,
very
sir.
disrespectful.
Yes, sir. He's a very likable villain from the last playoffs. All right. So, all right, guys, we're heading into our last question. Uh, I think you could have saved this answer for this question, but it's all good. I'm sure there's a lot more. The incoming rookie that will have the biggest impact on their team.
I have a different answer for that.
All right, all right. Go
I'd
ahead.
go for me. I'd go with. I have two on my list.
All right,
Actually, make it three because
all right, all right.
I'm gonna go with Cade Cunningham.
For sure. Number one pick.
I have Jalen Green,
For
and
sure.
then I'm gonna go with Suggs.
Jalen Suggs. Yes, sir. All right. All point.
For me, Suggs will be the sleeper among those three.
Mm.
But rookie of the year per se, I think it's gonna be a tough battle. But the reason why I go with Cade Cunningham and Jalen Green, let's get those two in the spotlight.
Yeah.
Jalen Green is gonna provide. His ceiling is just very high, especially with the Rockets. He has a high ceiling, and imagine giving Jalen Green that learning curve and then just improving every year and every year, as a matter of fact. And then you have Kevin Porter Jr. He did great with the Rockets. With that 50-point game, a lot of high praises. When the Cavs traded him to Houston, I think he definitely took that personally for sure. So that's gonna be a fun backcourt. And for Jalen Green, I'm really excited for what he has. Cade Cunningham, I feel like for me, Cade Cunningham, you can build the next bad boys of Detroit. It's just that you just need to find the right pieces. I mean, Sekou Demboya, he's all right, I'd say. But Cade Cunningham, that's their X factor to me. He's gonna make a lot of huge moves. And for me, the sleeper, which I will tackle, Jalen Suggs. Jalen Suggs he's your leader. He's your leadership dude. He's like the man. But the thing is, the reason why I put him as a sleeper is because knowing his skill set, he can shoot, he can pass, but it's gonna contradict to Cole Anthony's role.
Yeah.
So that's my problem. You have Cole Anthony's your main point guard. Shooting guard, you have Jalen Suggs, which I think Jalen Suggs, you can utilize him better if I were Orlando. But his ceiling is definitely there. It's just that for the problem with Suggs is how are you going to use him, especially in Orlando, especially with a system. That's the one question that you have to think about it, especially for Orlando. But all aside from that, I have three. These are the guys that I'm looking forward to. What about you guys?
Okay, if I had to go technical with Myko's question, wherein incoming rookies having the biggest impact on their team, I could answer it in like different angles. Like for example, if I had to give rookie of the year, I feel like it would be Cade. Because primarily I feel like he could be the man already in Detroit. Because Detroit doesn't really have much going for it right now.
Yeah, nothing.
So I feel like he could come in, guns blazing, average maybe 20 points a game, and he'd be like the star in Detroit. That is a big impact. But if I had to pick like a different angle, I feel like in terms of winning basketball, the Rockets are much better positioned than Detroit when it comes to like, quote unquote, finishing the rebuild process and actually competing. I feel like the Rockets are a notch higher than Detroit. And because of that, I also feel like um, Jalen Green will be so much fun to watch with Houston. And if I had to give like the biggest impact, meaning who could translate to more wins, I feel like Jalen Green is in a better position than Cade Cunningham in that regard. So, rookie of the year, maybe Cade, who has a better win loss record. I'd give it to Jalen Green with the Houston Rockets. And in terms of being the most fun to watch, I feel like Houston has a lot of potential. Just to like, one of those teams that you don't really kind of look for, but when you do see it on TV,
Yeah.
oh, okay,
Yeah.
I'll stay on this game because like
Yeah.
Jalen Green and like Kevin Porter Jr., a lot of good young pieces, and the game that they play, it's fun to watch. So yeah, that's how I chop it up.
So we got the top two picks. Sure. For sure they would come out. I expected this, but okay. I'll give something like a little like out of the box here. All right, I got two as well. So my first is Jalen Johnson, the Atlanta Hawks. One, because he's a dookie, so I'm gonna give love to my dookies. And two, I mean, we saw in the summer league what he can do as a wing. I mean, speaks for itself already, athleticism and everything. And I think DeAndre Hunter, when Atlanta drafted him, I think Jalen Johnson could somewhat fill that role because DeAndre Hunter has been injured past few seasons. So I feel like it's kind of like Danilo's role. Like Danilo is getting a little old, but Jalen Johnson could be that younger version, more athletic, defensive minded as well. So that could help them in the playoffs. But here's the biggest impact in my opinion. I don't know if you guys know Nashon Highland. He was drafted by the Denver Nuggets in the late 20s. The thing is, he's a point guard. He's a scoring point guard. His nickname is Bones. They call him Bones, guys, because of all the anchor breakers he's done in college at VCU. He call him Bones. And the thing is, Jamal Murray is still recovering from the ACL. So the point guard scoring position is very open. And once he gets playing time, I think he's going to help them keep their standings up there in the playoff top 8 until Jamal Murray comes back. And that's going to be a very vital role for the Denver Nuggets. Sir, so
That's an interesting take.
yeah.
Sleepers.
That's
Sleepers.
interesting.
Sleepers,
Yeah, sleepers
man.
for sure. Although I do agree with Denver.
Right.
Okay, yeah, where you said that Jamal Murray, he's gonna fill that void for Jamal Murray, but there comes a time where you ask the question, if Jamal Murray comes back, you have Facu Campazzo as your second or your backup
Yeah.
point guard. So, that kind of limits his playing time. But
Yeah, well, once he
Yeah,
comes
that-
back.
but that is a good take. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Yeah,
A lot
but
of sleepers.
yeah, that's why though. But like, if Jamal comes back, like this, it's not like they'll take him out immediately because of course Jamal needs time to get back in the groove, get back to the system, take off the rust. So probably we'll see it like all the way throughout the season, and then the playoffs. That's when we'll see more of Murray for sure.
What about you, Al's?
Not gonna lie, I do not know those two names that Myko mentioned. Like, I'm not so heavy into college basketball. Like, I just probably know like the top picks, and that's pretty much it.
I think that's the gist.
Yeah. So,
Let's
because like
be
I
honest, that's
also,
the gist.
like, I don't put rookies like so much pressure on. I don't put so much pressure on the rookies because, like, yeah, Lamelo was great last season, but I feel like Charlotte is also like a few pieces away from really, really competing, and like the fact that a team gets a high draft pick means that they're in the lottery. So like, they're gonna be exciting and they're gonna be fun to watch, but it's always going to be a game of wait and see how these players develop. Give it like a few months. LaMelo, we don't even know like what he's really capable of because it's only been 1 year. Like I feel like he has a lot of potential. I don't know where his ceiling is exactly yet,
Oh,
you know. So I try to keep it very conservative with rookies.
okay, I see, I see.
Sure, I'm gonna say this. Charlotte's just gonna be the most overrated team. I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry for all those Charlotte Hornets fans out there.
Well,
But
Why?
I'm just
Why?
gonna say this
Mhm.
is so overrated. Hornets is just one team that's gonna be so overrated. Period.
well, what makes you say so?
Yeah. Why?
I mean, you have LaMelo Ball already. You have Tsunami Papi,
Tsunami,
who got recently got signed, and knowing those two, they just hype up. They just hype
Yeah.
a lot of people. Those two,
Yeah,
it's just gonna be so overrated. More important than LaMelo Ball. To me, this is like a Lonzo Ball effect when it comes to LaMelo. But the difference is LaMelo is gonna be worse for LaMelo when it comes to that. It's so hype. All I see is hype. I'm sorry, but
let's
all
see.
I see is
Yeah,
hype.
they have a lot to prove. It's true.
They still, yeah, that's the
They have a
thing.
lot to prove.
But Melo's, I'm just gonna say this. Melo's really good, but he still has a lot.
If you had to
Again,
pick who's gonna be or who's gonna have the better career when it's all said and done, Lonzo or Lamelo?
ah, I'll say,
So,
I'll say Melo, because you see, like in his rookie season, I never seen Melo that good. Like we all know, like Lonzo's the face of the Ball family, but Melo's just different for me. For like among all the Ball brothers for me, I say Melo's the best among all. Of them.
yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Melo's crazy.
Lonzo's catching up though with his improving jump shot. It's catching
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Catching
catching.
up. Yeah,
Di
At
magpapatalo si
least it's
Kuya.
sure.
at least it's better than the side pickup and then like where you just and then when he just goes up, it just goes to the right side, which
Oh yeah.
I have no idea
Uh,
how it goes
it's
there.
right here now. It's fixed.
Now it's there. So
Yeah.
you know how the shooting mechanics that we were taught is just like this,
Yeah.
like Alonso's, like
Make it the
this,
90.
and then it just goes there. Which
Yeah.
I have no idea how he does that.
Yeah. All right. So I mean, unfortunately, that's all the time we have. And it sounded like we could talk for another hour about the NBA. That's how it sounded like. But yeah, I mean, so before I wrap it up, how about you, Al? Do you have anything you want to add before I wrap it up?
Um just hoping and praying everyone stays healthy. You know, hopefully we see everyone at full strength, not just the playoff teams, but also for these upcoming rookies.
Yeah.
Like it's always the worst type of news when someone gets injured, like first few games, but
Yeah.
so all
Yeah.
the best to the rookies. Training camp is about to start, so we're gonna see a lot of hype workout videos soon.
Uh huh.
Can't wait for those because even though like they don't really show much, and even like if Ben Simmons is jacking up threes, it's still kind
I
of fun
call
to
that the
watch.
propaganda video. I call that the propaganda video.
Everyone gets hyped.
I hope it's true. I hope it's true. But right now, I'm just saying it's a propaganda video. I'm sorry.
But yeah, hopefully everyone comes out healthy, comes out strong, and I can't wait to see our grades and predictions come to fruition.
All right. All right. So how about you, Rolo? Do you have anything you want to plug and promote before we end the show?
Well, for me, just you guys can follow my socials at Rodil21 for Instagram and Twitter. And for all the Warriors fans out there, I got that covered. so
Alright,
so when it
alright.
comes to expressions and thoughts, I got that covered for you guys. Like all the Filipino Warriors fans, I got you. But yeah, well, in other things, I just I just hope that the NBA season is much better than last season because the injuries is just so bad. It's
Yeah,
just it's like a series of domino effects
yeah.
when it comes to injuries. And yes, I do hope the rookies this will be a great experience. More importantly, we'll be excited for them because it's a stacked draft class. For the teams, oh,
Lots of
this is
heavyweights
where
to
I'm
watch for
excited.
sure.
There are a
Yeah.
lot of teams that to watch. And I'm really excited because now the NBA it's so balanced. You know how like before it's not so
All
balanced,
right.
but now it's balanced. So
Yeah. Let's see.
they have the big three in the East, the big three in the West. You have sleeper teams in the East, sleeper teams in the
Mhm.
West. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I hope more records are gonna be broken.
That's fun. And all right, so there you have it, guys. That was another episode, the MVP podcast. So we did talk a lot about the off-season moves. Rolo's biggest winner of the off-season, the beast in the East, Brooklyn Nets. And then, of course, for Justin is the bronzexual. How could he not say the Lakers? How could he not say that the Lakers is not the biggest winner? And for me, I'd say Miami. But we had our losers, we had the underrated moves, and of course, how could we not talk about the rookies? Just like Rolo said, stacked draft class, and we're gonna see a lot of big impacts. And of course, another exciting NBA season to watch.
Thank God.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So yeah, before we end, guys, just wanna say it again. This episode was brought to you by MVP Box Breaks. For those who are interested, I'm gonna be your breaker. So if you've been tuning in to the MVP podcast, you're gonna see me break cards for you. Hopefully, pull some magic for you guys. And yeah, check us out on Facebook or even contact us through Instagram for more details.
And shout out as well to the listener of the day, Ramon Agbisit. Thank you so much for tuning in to the podcast. We appreciate it so much, and thank you for your support.
And there you have it. So just want to say thank you again, Rolo, for coming on the show, man. It was a pleasure
My
to have you.
pleasure. It's an honor to be part of this show, man. You guys have been doing a lot of great stuff. Salutes.
Thank
You
you.
guys.
Much appreciated. Thank you. Thank you. And yeah, there you have it, guys. Once again, I'm your co-host, Myko Garcia.
And I am your host, Justin Alvarado, and that has been the MVP podcast. Don't forget, do it different. Thank you so much for watching. If you dig that video, please don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to our channel. And last but not least, don't forget to click the notification bell so you don't miss out on any video.